The youngster Amaral at 22 gives 5 years to Eubank. Amaral with a substantial height advantage. Eubank right on the 12-stone button in terms of weight, and also a 4-inch advantage in terms of reach. The rules under the supervision of the WBO, the 10-point must system, so every round is won with a maximum of 10 points. 3 knockdowns and you're finished. There will be no standing 8 count tonight. Either fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and only our referee can stop the fight. Hope very much you're going to enjoy this piece of history. We don't know where it's going to end, but it begins now at Olympia. And let's say hello once more to our fight commentary team tonight, Glenn McCrory and Ian Dark.
Thanks very much indeed, Paul. Yes, there's always that tinge of excitement around, isn't there, Glenn, whenever Chris Eubank is about to enter the ring. Everybody's saying it's a routine defence for him, but in this game, you never know.
You certainly don't know. This guy looks very strong. He's very big, wide shoulders. Obviously, he's got everything here to fight for, everything to try and win. And obviously, he's going to be really up for this fight. Eubank seems very relaxed, very composed. It's going to be a great fight. We're all ready for it.
And we're all ready now for the ring entrances. Why don't we join our ring announcer, Alan Hughes.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Olympia in London, an exclusive on Sky Sports. Will you please welcome into the ring the boxers for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the World. First, the challenger for the title from Brazil, Mauricio Amaral.
So here comes the 22-year-old Brazilian. He's a big Brazilian football fan, Mauricio Amaral, and will know that earlier this evening, Brazil made it through to the semi-finals of the World Cup. His quote earlier on was, "Romario is going to knock out Holland, and I'm going to knock out Eubank." "22 years of age. He's got 21 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw. There are 1 or 2 boxing statisticians who say that his camper found 6 wins out of thin air. Reputation as something of a puncher, but basically he's a mystery man. Very few people, even in the trade, know very much about Mauricio Amaral. Over the years, Brazil has only produced a couple of world champions as well. The great bantamweight, Ide Joffre, who was world champion in the 60s. And later on, Miguel Oliveira, WBA light middleweight champion in 1975. So no world champions for 19 years from Brazil. This man, Mauricio Amaral, tries to break the mold. He says he's never even seen Chris Eubank on video. Has no intention of doing so. He's confident that he can cause the upset. Mauricio Amaral of Brazil, the challenger for Chris Eubank's crown this evening at Olympia.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you now welcome into the ring in defense of his title, the reigning WBO Super Middleweight Champion of the World, simply the best, it's Chris Eubank!
Eubank's vaulting ambition, looking to take him where no British boxer of the modern era has ever gone before, with 8 World Championship defences in 1 year. And this, the first of them, against Mauricio Amaral.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please be upstanding for both national anthems? Of the evening, promoted by Barry Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, sponsored by Beluga Leisure, and this is a super middleweight contest with a match made by Frank Turner at 12 stone over 12 rounds each of 3 minutes duration for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship of the world. Your judges at ringside, Cesar Ramos and Wiso Fernandez of Puerto Rico and Torben Hansen of Denmark. Your WBO supervisor in charge, Ed Levine of Miami in Florida. And ladies and gentlemen, your timekeeper on the bell, Michael McCann of London. When the bell rings and the action begins, the man in charge of his 44th World Championship contest, Steve Smoger of New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the action? Live on Sky Sports, presenting and introducing to you the boxers. First, in the red corner with those white shorts, with a superb record of 21 wins and 1 draw from 23 contests, 18 coming by way of KO, and weighing in at 11 stone 12 pounds from Brazil, the reigning Latin American super middleweight champion and challenger for the title, Mauricio Amaral. And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent in the blue corner with those yellow shorts with an unbelievable, undefeated professional record of 37 wins, 2 draws from 39 contests, 17 inside the distance, and weighing in at 12 stone exactly, making the 11th defence of his title from Brighton, the reigning WBO Super Middleweight Champion of the world, Chris Eubank. Ladies and gentlemen, 12 3-minute rounds of boxing. I thank you.
So you've had the ring entrance, spectacular as always from Chris Eubank. Does he produce the performance to match it?
We're giving your instructions at the weigh-in both in English and in Spanish. Just a reminder, I want you to obey my commands at all times, respect the bell at all times, and of course protect yourself at all times. Chris, this is a legal shot. This will not be counted as a low blow. You understand that? Touch gloves, Chris. Touch them up.
Interesting point that Steve Smoger was making there, that if Amaral lands on that high belt of Eubank, that will be construed as a legal punch, not a low blow. Eubank bathed in sweat. He's been working out for a long time in the dressing room. 12 rounds, his 11th defense of the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. Chris Eubank, and his 16th consecutive world title fight in less than 4 years.
But during all that build-up, all that hype, and Amaral looked very focused. We've seen very little, if nothing, of him, but it'll be interesting. He looked very tense, very up for this fight.
The last 8 of Eubank's World Championship fights have gone the full 12-round distance. He hasn't stopped anybody since he beat John Jarvis with 1 punch 27 months ago. Amaral has the reputation of being something of a puncher. It's a good knockout record, 18 out of 21. Eubank will just watch to see what he has. They've seen a couple of videos of Amaral. Amaral hasn't watched any of Eubank.
Amaral already looking for that right hand. He's not hiding behind the jab for very long. He's looking to try and land with a significant punch already.
Fairly circumspect beginning from Eubank. Often the criticism of him that he just lacks work rate and allows fights almost unnecessarily to become very close and dramatic, and he's sailed close to the wind a few times on the points decisions, but he's always managed, sometimes controversially, to hold on to his crown.
Amaral landed with the right hand there, but didn't really get a great deal of weight behind the shot.
Eubank's making him miss a lot, isn't he, in this opening round as well? Amaral, who is the Latin American champion, comes from a little town near Sao Paulo in Brazil, and he has the same birthday as Pelé. Is there anything in that, I wonder?
You may find out if somebody throws a ball in the ring again, but other than that, I don't think so.
Well, they've been famous for their footballers and their coffee down the years, but not too often for their fighters, the Brazilians. Eubank just starting to get to work and measure him for size with the left jab. Quiet opening round from the champion. He's going through the full pseudo-regal routine. Mr. Casual.
As usual, he does it like nobody else.
Well, he was just sizing Amaral up, I think, in that opening round.
I think he was. He was just trying to get a feel of how strong Amaral was, what his jab was like. He seemed very composed. He avoided punches very well in that round, and he looked very relaxed. Amaral went for a few big right hands, but nothing really connected. Maybe one early there, we see him go for that big right hand, but Eubank just dipped underneath and again made him miss for the left hook.
Chris Eubank has been preparing for this with 120 rounds of sparring, 7.5-mile runs every morning on Brighton seafront, and he only had 10 days out of the gym after his close call against Ray Close in Belfast. That was only 49 days ago. Second round due to go 12. Good left hook to the body from Eubank there. His trainer Ronnie Davis always allows him to work out his own strategy once he gets into the ring. They never go in with any preconceived plans, which is quite an interesting approach at variance with some of the top trainers in America, but it's worked for Eubank.
certainly has. And he seems very sharp. He's making Amaral miss very well. You know, he's just leaning just to the side fractionally and then come back with his jab. Looks nice and sharp.
Now, how good is this Mauricio Amaral? Is he a hand-picked opponent, selected to beef up Eubank's record, or has he got more? We'll find out.
Amaral is trying to get his shots off, but they do seem a little snatched at the moment. You know, he's trying to throw it in and get out the way at the same time.
Greater economy about Eubank. He's not throwing so many punches, but he's landing with more.
And defensively at this moment, very alert. Good movement inside there, just ducked down, avoided 2 good shots.
Eubank, always pretty elusive, good going backwards. Just skipping out of the range of Amaral, who's hit thin air quite a bit already. Certainly the feeling among the boxing writers was that they'd like to see Eubank get this job done inside the distance this time.
Solid jab went in there from Eubank, but he hasn't really opened up yet. He's threw the odd hook to the body, the odd good solid jab, but he hasn't started to let his shots go.
A really good elusive defense from Eubank, who would have taken that round with his greater economy.
The Rover 214 Special Edition with 7-spoke alloy wheels, electric front windows, remote-controlled alarm, sports seats with Silverstone leather trim, from just £10,495. How do they do it?
Welcome back to London's Olympia, the 10th World Championship fight held here in history. They date back to 1911.
Nice and calm, Chris, nice and calm. Pick every shot still.
Ronnie Davis saying nice and calm to Eubank. Well, he always seems to be that. That's how I'm seeing it so far. First round even, second to Eubank. It's the 3 judges, of course, who matter. The Dane Torben Hansen and 2 Puerto Ricans scoring this one. Referee Steve Smoger, a circuit court judge in the Atlanta area, does not score the bout. Eubank, we know he carries a real dig when he lets go with that right hand, and not really landing flush with it that time, happily for Amaral. It's a good right hand. Amaral getting through and landing well. Eubank there is almost as if to say, I'm not going to let you take the initiative like that. Bites back and tries to let go with his left, but has to be said, Amaral's, I think, was the better punch of the 2, the right hand.
Eubank's looked a dangerous left hook. He just sidestepped a little bit, just showed something else, and then come out with a good left hook to tell Amaral, yeah, I'm still here, I'm the champ.
Again, the right hand getting through from Amaral.
Yes, he's having a bit of success with that. He's finding his range. He's not really landing with the jab, but the right hand's getting through. Amaral also picking up some points there to the body.
He looked pretty raw and wild up to that point, but he's done better in this 3rd round, the Brazilian, Glenn.
He has. These couple of exchanges he's getting the best of.
Again, the right hand from the Brazilian, who's just beginning to find the range of it. Now Eubank, though, gets to work there. refusing to let the South American grab the initiative, tripling up on the jab, then the right hand as well. Good work from Eubank. Always approaching the job like some grand chess master.
Eubank's looking strong. He's took the centre of the ring and he's going to make Amaral do the work.
People say that Eubank has been involved in some moderate fights down the years. That's true, but he's also been involved in some really special thrillers like the ones with Nigel Benn and the tragic Michael Watson, not to mention the two with Ray Close. The suspicion is that when he needs to, he finds more, Eubank. Interesting round, that one.
£10 measly grand for a company car. I mean, what kind of impression could I make in a 10 grand car? I'd be a laughing stock. But then I spotted this new golf match. Very individual. And the spec, alloy wheels, power steering, pollen filter, even a CD player as standard. So now my colleagues think I've gone up a notch. Which means I get loads more work to do.
If only everything in life was as reliable as a Volkswagen.
Welcome back to Olympia. That third round, things starting to warm up. The Brazilian, Mauricio Amaral, has not been given a lot of chance. Had his successes in this round.
He has. He started very well beginning the round. Some good right hands went in. I think maybe enough just to take that round. It was very close, but he just threw some good shots. And there we see Eubank coming back at him, trying to get that jab on. Tried to put his man under pressure, but didn't quite make it.
Fourth round then. Chris Eubank, who says, people say I'm insane to try 8 title fights in a year. Well, he says, I've never said that I was sane. He says, I'm here to prove that I'm abnormal. I'm not sure we needed convincing.
He's always got a good quote.
Amaral trying to line him up again with those right hands, looking very frustrated as Eubank, in that cagey Spider-Man way of his, found his way around the ropes and out of range.
It was a very unorthodox defense, but it worked very well.
Something so bizarre and unorthodox about everything Eubank does, not only out of the ring, but in it as well. At times he's almost like a mime artist in there.
He is. He shows very little expression with the face, which is very off-putting, because as a fighter, you're always looking to try and get some expression from the eyes to see how your opponent's feeling. And Eubank gives as little away as possible.
Well, Amaral certainly doesn't look overawed. He certainly hasn't frozen on the big stage. His first fight outside Central or South America, this. Furthest he'd been from Brazil before was Mexico. Again, the right hand. Eubank will have to be careful about that.
Some good shots from Amaral. He's starting to fancy the job a little bit. He's certainly not been phased at all, and he's coming back with shots all the time. And that was a good little spell for him there.
He's certainly working very, very hard indeed. Oh, Eubank, possibly his best punch of the contest so far, that left hook. Then an uppercut as well. Amaral, as if to prove he wasn't hurt by it, throws plenty of leather, but again, Eubank with the body shots. Always happiest, I think, Eubank, when he's counter-punching.
And a couple of good body punch counters back from Eubanks, but he's just allowing Amaral to throw a few more shots.
Certainly was a good left hook to the head, though, and followed it with one to the body as well. He really is a big super middleweight Eubank. Well, 4 rounds gone, and Eubank is once again into his mid-ring posturing, as if to prove he doesn't need the minutes break between the rounds. He's no ordinary mortal. But Amaral's putting up a spirited challenge here.
He is again. I think he maybe did a little bit more than Eubank in that round. He just, especially at the early stage, we've seen it here, where he started to put a few shots together. A couple of them got through. Eubank trying to cover up, but Amaral getting through with shots there. And here's Eubank's reply. Tries to get that double left hook off, but Amaral just covers up enough to get out the way. So I think Amaral could be, he may have just have done enough to clinch that round.
Well, Mauricio Amaral is making life pretty difficult here for Chris Eubank. Always the suspicion with Eubank that he needs to up his work rate a little more. But he does have a habit, too, of coming on pretty strong over the closing rounds of fights. Certainly did that in the last one against Ray Close in Belfast. Still arguing about that decision over there, although I must say I thought Eubank took it myself. And that's how we're seeing it so far. We've got Amaral just ahead, although those last couple of rounds the scoring would have been pretty close. But he's had his successes with those right hands. Eubank, good sharp left hook.
A good shot, but Amaral looked as if he caught it on his glove there. He's getting his defense up to them. Counters from Eubank.
Eubank forced to take refuge as Amaral lets the leather flow. Not very much of it landed. All those punches landing there on the gloves and arms. Now, the crowd beginning to get quite animated here as Amaral ups the gear and asks the questions of Eubank, who's now drawn into a fight. Well, this could be a rather stiffer task than a lot of people imagined.
It's certainly working its way into a very good fight. Amaral starting to believe he can win this fight, starting to put the pressure on. Eubank's coming back, trying to answer him.
I don't think Amaral has read the script here, has he?
I don't think he has. He looked very up for the fight in the corner. I watched him as Eubanks made his grand errands, and he was totally fixed on Eubanks. Some good shots there from Eubanks. Nice work around the body.
Eubank, if he didn't think so before, will now know that he has a bit of a task in front of him here against this energetic, ambitious, young Brazilian. Big chance for him, of course, to gate crash the big time. And fighters like that are always dangerous. Eubank's right gets through.
Still ambitious with that right hand.
And a good old-fashioned stare between them at the end of the round. Eubank goes into his meditation routine. I think he did the cleaner work in that round, and that's probably got the fight just about level, I would think, at that stage. That's how Glenn McCrory and I are seeing it anyway. It's Ronnie Davis in the corner, former civil engineer. He's been with Chris Eubank for 6 years. Now, action from that last round, the fifth.
There's a good left hook from Eubank. That's the shot he's been looking for. But Amaral just seems to lean away from it, seems to get that right hand up. There, the right hand. But again, the defense of Amaral coming to his rescue.
6th round. As if you needed reminding, Eubank in the yellow trunks. Eubank signs that he may just be beginning to up the tempo. Almost inviting Amaral in there and hoping that he might counterpunch him, I think. Amaral had a chat with Jose da Silva, a Brazilian who lost in 6 rounds to Eubank in Brazil 5 years ago. In Liverpool, that fight was. And he told Amaral, ignore his antics, just go in there and do your job. And I think that's exactly what Amaral has done. He's not been fazed. One thing about Chris Eubank, of course, we've seen Amaral land with some good right hands in the early rounds here, but Eubank does have this absolutely rock-solid chin, doesn't he?
He does. He has a very good chin. And any shots that he's took now, he's took without a flinch. But Amaral is looking for the right hand again. Come with decent left hooks.
Very, very good left hook. Again, Eubank took it almost without blinking and finds a really good right of his own. Good contest, both of them landing with good shots in this round. There's Ronnie Davis watching the action intently at ringside, thinking of what his next inter-round instructions will be.
Good jab there from Eubank, very solid.
Always the suspicion with Eubank that he maybe has other gears to move into. Have we already seen the best of Amaral? We'll find out.
Amaral is trying to get through. He's trying to throw shots, but good right got through there. But Eubank is managing to catch most of them on the gloves.
One of them definitely did get through, though. Eubank coming back with his body shot. And this developing into an intriguing contest. Live from Olympia.
Friends Provident has been helping people's dreams to blossom for 160 years. By trusting our experience, they've been able to plan for the future and realize their ambitions. We can help you provide for the years ahead too, with savings and investments, with pensions and with life assurance. Friends Provident, at every stage of your life, friends provide.
Welcome back to Olympia, where Chris Eubank is being given another hard challenge here. This is Mauricio Amaral, the young man who, according to one of the tabloids this morning, has to sleep in the same room as his trainer. They don't like him going out on his evening excursions. He apparently has a bit of an eye for the ladies. Not the first boxer of whom that was true. Into the second half of the contest. 7th round. Don't know about you, Glenn. I'm seeing this pretty even so far.
It is very, very close. Amaral's getting up with some decent shots. Eubank comes back with the counters, but all too infrequent, which has been a criticism of him in the last few fights. Amaral, nothing, really stalling that he's hit Eubank with, but he keeps throwing shots, getting a little bit more confidence. That right hand at times does look dangerous.
Left hook was a good shot from Amaral. And he really does look a tough cookie, doesn't he? Letting these hooks go here and really going for it, Amaral in this round. And can Eubank match this tempo of this raw and aggressive young challenger from Brazil.
Well, I think he's going to have to, because Amaral is beginning to fancy this job, and an opponent is very hard when he starts to believe in himself.
He's starting to talk to Eubank in there as well now and engage him in quite a contest. This is a big round for Amaral so far. In what language he's talking to Eubank, I wouldn't know. He speaks Portuguese himself. And there's a bit of blood, I think, around the left eye of Eubank. Blood coming from beside the left eye of Eubank.
Yes, Eubank's definitely cut in a very bad place as well, just on the corner of that left eye. Already bleeding. Good round for Amaral, still landing with the left hook.
He's really, I think, got to Eubank in this round. He's letting the leather flow, and Eubank here is needing all his resilience and durability. The plot thickening here in round 7. Mauricio Amaral, who was seen as a youngster, WBO number 7, being given a chance, and probably not too much of a big chance of winning. Well, he's asking all the questions of Chris Eubank now. Eubank is cut in the 7th.
Yes, Amaral up the pace and looked at the beginning of that round that he's beginning to fancy this job.
Eubank has come back from the brink on several occasions before. But he looks as if he hits hard, Amaral. Blood now around the face of Eubank. Ronnie Davis's trainer says he's never cut up in the gym, though he did have, I think, a bit of facial damage. I think I'm right in saying in the last fight against Ray Close.
And still getting through his shots. A good solid right left hook there. Ian just seemed to catch Eubanks on the gloves, but it'll still have some effect because obviously the power's going to go through them hands.
And once again here, Eubank will be forced to show his championship quality. This is as big a round as either fighter has had so far. And it's Amaral who's taken that one, no doubt, despite the defiant pose of Chris Eubank.
Right, Eubank. Yeah. Just win the round, please.
Well, you wonder what next here now, Glenn.
That's right, it's all happening. That was a very good start of that round for Amaral.
Do I fucking lie to you or what? Right, I don't lie to you, mate. I'm not lying to you. You are closer than you think. You could be on one judge's card. Now, come on. Show me a couple of rounds of class where you win the round. Do you understand?
That's Barry Hearn saying he thinks that maybe Eubank is behind on one of the judges' cards and it's closer than he thinks, and I would certainly concur with that. But there's no telling how the 3 judges are seeing it. They're the professionals paid to score the fight. But I don't think there can be much argument that Amaral won that round.
He certainly did. A very good start from him. He threw an awful lot in the beginning and opened that cut in Eubank's left eye, and a good round for him. He's got to try and build on that if he wants to go home champion.
Now, does Eubank answer the call from his corner to go out and win a couple of rounds? Eubank just losing his balance, and again the blood just seeping down beside the left eye. It's not really a problem in terms of it obscuring his vision. But once again, he does need to step up a gear.
I think the problem could be mentally, that sort of injury affects somebody because they can't see how bad it is. Although it's out of the way, Eubanks, he's not going to know how bad the damage is, so that could give him a few more problems, could make him try harder than he should, or make him not try as hard as he should. So it's a very interesting stage in the fight.
Amaral's only other fight this year was a first-round win over Dario De Jesus. The gym reports about him are pretty encouraging. He said he had fast hands, and he's certainly, from the word go here, not been frightened to let the leather flow. There's a real hush fallen over the crowd. I think they know that Eubank again could be in a spot of bother at this stage.
There is, as we just see there, as Eubanks tries something, Amaral comes with 2 good shots. He's beginning to fancy this. He's beginning to get himself into this fight. And it's going to be hard for Eubank to put himself right back in here.
There's Barry Hearn chewing his gum. He was the man who was telling Eubank that he might be in trouble in the fight a few seconds ago. Can Amaral keep up this pace? Good counter-punching by Eubank there. Invited Amaral in and got him with the right hand. One thing Ronnie Davis, the trainer, was telling me, he said he'd like to see Eubank use his left jab more. You can see a lot of that.
Heineken Export disappears more smoothly than a politician's promises.
There's never been an Esso shop like this before. Latest Esso Snack and Shop. A fresh idea from Esso.
You're live at Olympia on Sky Sports, the start of Chris Eubank's world tour, but he's being given all the trouble he can handle here by the unknown Brazilian, or unknown before this fight anyway, Mauricio Amaral.
Here's some of the work from Amaral in this round. He's keeping the pressure, and he also has quite a good defense as well, which is giving Eubanks a little bit of trouble. It's still very close, but for me, on my count, I've got Amaral just a sneak ahead.
Here's round 9. We're into the last third of the fight here, and the suspicion once again, and how often has this been the case with Eubank fights, that he needs to look good over these closing rounds.
See, the problem is Eubanks has never had one spell in the fight where he's really been on top or in command. You know, he allows these fights to be, so very close.
Well, there are those, of course, who think he just likes to suspend the drama and turn it almost into a plot for the paying public, but I would think it's probably a different story to that. He'd love to get the job done early if he could, particularly with another 7 fights coming up in the next 12 months. Eubank going into a crab-like routine. Again, I think inviting Amaral in so that he can counter him.
Yes, he's done his antics a little bit. I think he's a little bit frustrated. He's trying to bring Amaral in. He's trying to make Amaral make mistakes. But as yet, Amaral's not doing that. He's keeping, pretty tight defense. He's not giving away a lot. He's throwing his own shots, which are just taking that little bit away from Eubank.
Eubank just starting to pick it up a little bit. He did against Ray Close in the last fight over the closing stages. He needs to do it again here. Again, Amaral with his right hand. You would think that the youngster would be unlikely to run out of gas. He's young, he's in condition, it's his big chance. Amaral, one of 4 children of a local cafe owner in his hometown of Bragaria.
So it's that type of work that may just catch the judge's eye. Amaral puts his shots together. Some of them Eubank is blocking, but some of them are getting through.
Just a reminder, 2 Puerto Ricans, 1 Dane scoring this. You just like to keep at their scorecards. That was good from Eubank. Gets the combination together. I think Amaral was hurt a bit by that. He's trying to keep him away, and suddenly he just stiffened up Amaral as that three-punch combination came in from Eubank. His eyes just opened a little, his legs stiffened. Significant success maybe for Eubank in this round. He'll have taken that one. And Amaral looks a wee bit more tired as he goes back to the corner. You wonder if he may have just given it absolutely everything and how much he has left. But suddenly, in that last half minute of the round, Glenn, Amaral began to look tired, and I think the three-punch combination from Eubank didn't help in that direction.
That's right, I think that's what did it. It was a good combination, and Amaral looked a little bit shaky. He did just seem to seize up a little bit. There's one of the shots, the right hand there. Just made him stand up right. There we see it again, right on the end of the chin. You know, he just seemed to, you know, he really felt that. Good shot, right through to his feet.
Now Eubank, I have just ahead at this point now, having given him the last couple of rounds. But some of these rounds, I wouldn't give you too much of a serious argument about. Some of them have been close to score. Eubank, again, early on, his work rate leaving something to be desired, but somehow he has this inner scorecard almost in his brain, doesn't he, where he's working it out and he somehow just inches his way ahead in the closing stages of fights.
He does seem to calculate a fight very well.
Eubank has been 12 rounds on no fewer than 11 occasions. Amaral has only been over that distance twice in his career. Is Eubank beginning to turn this around here? Less coming back from Amaral now.
Yeah, I think that's a significant point. Amaral isn't throwing as much back. Eubank's the one on the front foot now. He's the one going forward.
Come on, boy. Step it up, mate. Step it up.
Again, the right-hand counter from Eubank. Starting to do some more impressive work now.
Yes, it's better. He's countering well. Good right hand in, good jab. Starting to find his range and starting to hurt the Brazilian.
The left hook certainly hurt Amaral again. Eubank is so strong. Amaral breathing a little heavier. They've done a good job on the cut. It's not bleeding at the moment. He's cut by the left eye of Chris Eubank. Again, good fast hands from Eubank. This is much better from him, doubling up on the jab. The blood does start to flow from that eye again. Nothing to worry about for him, though.
Eubank's starting to get some momentum into his shot, starting to put them together.
Now, this is as confident and as in control as Eubank has looked at any stage. This is Eubank's round again. There's just a more leaden look, more disorganized look about Amaral now. I think he is tiring. Now then, with the blood flowing from that left eye of Chris Eubank again, I wonder how Barry McGuigan, who's up in our box high above the arena somewhere. Barry, how are you seeing things?
Well, you know, I have it 97-94 in favour of Eubank. So he's, in my opinion, 4 rounds up. And he's looking stronger, and Amaral is tiring badly in the last couple of rounds. Eubank, all Eubank's got to do is to step up on top of him now. And Amaral is so tired, a couple of good combinations could finish the fight for Eubank.
Thanks, Barry. 97-94, Barry McGuigan. I think I'll make that a 3-round margin. And I've got Eubank a couple of rounds ahead, 97-95 at this stage. Glenn, again, he did some good work in that round.
That was a much better round. As the last 2-3 rounds, Eubank is coming to his own. He's putting his shots together now. He's starting. He's on the front foot, and he's letting some power go. And Amaral is noticeably tiring and not in the fight as much as he was.
Round 11. Just under 6 minutes left of this. Eubank has come through some uncomfortable moments, particularly in the 7th round when Amaral really let go with his shots, but he's almost as if in that flurry he just might have punched himself out for a while.
Very solid right hand from Amaral, still trying to have a go, still trying to get in close.
I suppose the question really with Amaral is there anything more left there? Will he get another win? Oh, he catches him with a left hook there, off balance. Eubank was off balance more than anything. It was a fair punch though, and that's lifted Amaral once again. Oh, big right from Amaral. Crashes home again. The sheer resilience of Eubank comes into play. That was a big punch, and Eubank took it exceptionally well. But Amaral coming back in this 11th round.
There's certainly a lot better work, especially that right hand looks very solid. And at the moment, he can't miss with it.
It's working well for him in the early rounds. And just when you think Eubank had everything under control, back comes Amaral again. Whatever happens here, he's made this a pretty uncomfortable night for the WBO super middleweight champion.
Better from Eubank. He counted and just seemed to get the best of that exchange.
Oh, lovely short right. Hook come uppercut from Eubank. Beautiful punch. Strange habit he has of walking away from the action, almost as if he's going away for a little think about what next.
But he's not. What he's trying to do is bring his opponent on and let his opponent make a mistake. He's, you know, mark my words, he's very much in control of what's going on when he does that. Still trying to get shots off, but Eubank making them miss. Very well, good head movement.
Well, another fascinating round, that one. Certainly, in the early stages of the round, Amaral had the best of things, but Eubank came back pretty well over the closing part of the round, so that might just have been even. Messiah Gomez and Mauro Kaznelson in the corner.
That's a point where Amaral just seemed to catch Eubank off balance. He did land a shot at the same time. Eubank went for a big one, but he just caught him around the side of the neck. Eubank off balance from throwing that big left hook.
It was that really good right hand from Eubank. Now there's my scorecard. I've got it 2 rounds to Eubank at this backstage, 107 to 105. 12th and last round. Eubank lets go with the right hand. It's still close-ish, this. There are 1 or 2 of the boxing writers behind me, just a couple of them, who think Amaral might even be ahead at this stage. Certainly Barry McGuigan, myself and Glenn McCrory all think that Eubank is just ahead. All will soon be revealed, I think. Amaral there shouting at Eubank in the ring. The last 3 minutes of the contest now. It's going to great challenge from the Brazilian, Glenn.
Yes, he's really been up for this. You can see now he's shouting at Eubank. I think he's shouting at him. He's also trying to psych himself up. You know, he's really tried. He's given his all. It's been his big opportunity, and he's come here and he's given his very best.
Well, Amaral's corner will probably have told him, go out and take this last round. And we may be in business here. The right hand crashes through from Amaral. That was a good punch. Eubank looked to be shaken by that a little. Back he comes.
Yes, I think we expected him to be shaken from that shot, but he seemed to take it very well and came straight back.
Chin really is made of rock, isn't it?
Yes, he takes a shot very well.
Amaral's hitting with some punches you suspect would have knocked some other fighters out. Amaral claiming he was hit low. Referee Steve Smoger says nothing. Terrific last round here. Last minute of the contest here. Matching each other almost punch for punch in this last round. Eubank's corner have done a good job with the cut. It's not got significantly worse since it broke out in the 7th round.
Throwing more shots, but Eubank just seems to be more effective with the ones that he throws. A lot less, but better timed shots.
Brave, courageous challenge from Amaral, but Eubank answering every challenge from about the 7th round on. And this might be another tight-ish call for Chris Eubank. The seconds tick away. Got a feeling this will be one where both fighters will claim afterwards that they won it. Well, that was a good fight. A lot of the rounds, very hard to separate them. Amaral is going around with his hands held aloft. He thinks he may have cracked Chris Eubank's unbeaten record, but has he? Eubank cornermen lifting their man aloft. But for the 9th time in a row, Eubank has been forced to go the full distance here. And we await the judges' scorecards with a great deal of interest. Well, I don't think Barry Hearn is too pleased with Chris Eubank in there, if you're lip reading or overhearing a bit of that. Again, I think Barry Hearn feels it was all too close for comfort, and Amaral, certainly the Brazilians, feel they might have stolen the title here. Here's how I've seen it. At the end, Eubank by 2 points, but there are plenty around me who'd argue with that. What did you think, Glenn?
I've got it by, I think we differed in a couple of rounds, but we had it at the same score at the end. I think Eubank by 2 rounds.
Well, tense moments again for Chris Eubank. He must be used to them by now. Seems to happen almost every time. It was a tight one last time against Ray Close. Before that, there were those who thought that Graziano Rocchigiani had won in Berlin and beaten Eubank, although Eubank himself thought that was one of his best performances. Earnest discussions. Here's the decision.
We'll have the judges' scorecards for you. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Fernando scores the contest 113 to 116. Judge Cesar Ramos scores the contest 113 to 115. And Judge Torben Hansen scores the contest 114 to 116. ladies and gentlemen, the winner and still the WBO middleweight champion of the world, Chris Eubank.
Eubank has successfully negotiated stage 1 of his 8-fight world tour, but my goodness me, didn't Mauricio Amaral put up a spirited challenge and at one time seemed to be taking charge of things. But credit Eubank for coming back again in the closing stages. Really was an excellent fight, that one, and it goes to show again what we were saying beforehand, Glenn, that Eubank, you can hand-pick opponents, you can look through the names, but you can take nothing for granted.
He certainly can't. He certainly leaves it very, very close. I mean, there was no point in the fight where Eubank really had a strong lead, or where he really, you know, showed himself or showed his powers. It was always very, very close. And at times Amaral did very, very well, but Eubank just pulled ahead to get that win.
So Chris Eubank is still calling himself simply the best, and that's win number 38 and unbeaten in 40 contests.
Thanks very much to Ian Dark and to Glenn McCrory. And in fairness, just looking back through the scorecards, this is a more comfortable margin of victory for Chris Eubank than he's had in one or two of his close calls, if I may use the pun, over the past couple of years. So this is a good night's work as far as Chris Eubank is concerned, and most importantly for Eubank and for Barry Hearn, they have put the World Tour on the road. We don't know who's going to come and try to take that belt away from Eubank down the road, and surely there will be stronger challengers than Mauricio Amaral around the corner. But for Eubank, it's been all about getting the show on the road tonight, and that has been achieved. He stayed on his feet, he took the best that Amaral had to offer him, and there were one or two grim moments around the middle of the fight, certainly, but Eubank, as he's done time and time again at this level, has the ability to raise his performance in the second half of a fight when necessary, and certainly around rounds 9 and 10, Eubank took control of the fight in a significant manner. Barry Hearn doesn't seem to be the happiest manager promoter in the world with his man right now, but Hearn and Eubank certainly live to fight on another day, and he is still the man in charge of this WBO super middleweight division. We'll talk to Eubank and to Barry Hearn in just a moment or two. Hope very much you've enjoyed the fight, and there's a little more to come here on Sky Sports tonight.
You're watching Sky Sports. Move your body. When it comes to the big sporting events in August, the place to be is Sky Sports. With bone-crunching wrestling action, SummerSlam 94, and the mighty All Blacks battle South Africa and Australia live. Then it's Grand Slam tennis excitement at the US Open as Sampras and Graf defend their titles. Chris Eubank keeps the big hits coming in August when he continues his world tour, live and exclusive. Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. Football's back on Sky Sports as United clash with Blackburn in the Charity Shield, while Arsenal and Chelsea lead the British charge in the Makita Trophy. Then it's time for all new excitement as the Premiership kicks off, along with a new season of hard-hitting rugby league. Plus continuing coverage of the US and European PGA, horse racing and the World Superbikes Championship. All the big names and events are coming your way this August on Sky Sports, where the action is.
So, how was your stag do then?
Fine.
I'm just glad no one had a camera.
Kodak film cameras. Take pictures where you wouldn't take a camera.
Are you busy, Henry? Here, run Sarah home for me.
You think you have the time to spend an evening with me? And if we go someplace to dance, I know that there's a chance you won't be leaving with me. And afterwards we drop into a quiet little place and have a drink or two.
What kept you?
And then I go and spoil it all by saying...
The Citroen Xantia. Discover what Citroen can do for you.
You're not taking
taking the light bulbs?
Listen, every bit helps. I'll soon be organising a telethon to cover our monthly bills.
Well, console yourself with the money we'll save with that Abbey National, what's it, home movers deal.
I should think so, too. With the amount of money they've had out of me over the years, you could buy enough of these to give Blackpool Town an inferiority complex.
Skinflint.
OK, Gov, we're ready to go.
Now, you will give the removal men a tip.
Yes. Never put a light bulb in your back pocket.
Abbey National, the habit of a lifetime.
Most mobile phone users pay £25 a month, and every call they make costs extra. Pay Orange £25 a month, and you can make 60 minutes of calls at no extra cost. Call for a brochure on 0800 286 286.
Cream of Manchester.
Hope very much you've enjoyed the entertainment this evening live from Olympia on Sky Sports as Chris Eubank successfully defends his WBO super middleweight crown, the first leg of what Eubank hopes will be a magnificent tour around the world. The boy from Brazil, Mauricio Amaral, came and gave an excellent account of himself. Still really not out of the novice stage as a professional at the age of 22, but he's shown enough certainly to warrant his place among the top guys in this division around the world. But his brave effort, not enough tonight. He goes home hopefully in good spirits and certainly medically in A1 condition after an excellent effort. But Eubank reigns on. I wonder what my guest Barry McGuigan thought of the performance.
Well, typical Chris Eubank performance, just doing enough, leaving his soul with a bit of controversy there. It seems that he likes to do that on every time that he fights. I thought he finished extremely well. The 9th, 10th, 11th rounds were good, and he finished at the end of the 12th round pretty good. Showing his experience, punching much better up close. I wish he would get up close more often because he's really powerful, devastating up close. But Amaral put on a tremendous performance and fought his guts out, but really faded in the latter half of the fight. And as you said just now, he showed that he's really only a young guy in the embryonic stages of his career, but put up a tremendous performance. But I thought Eubanks finished stronger and deserved to win the fight. I had him winning, incidentally, by 3 rounds, 117, 114.
What is your opinion about the strength of an opponent like Amaral?
Well, Amaral had good all-round ability, had a good pace in the early part of the fight, but faded badly in the latter half of the fight. Tried to up the pace in the 7th round, succeeded, seemed to stun and hurt Eubank momentarily, and then that was his last-ditch effort. He was basically surviving in the latter stages of the fight, but showed all-round good ability, and he'll come again.
Just to remind you, the Bell's Scottish Open, the final day of the big golf event in Scotland. We have highlights for that coming away in just a moment or two, but first let's get down to the dressing room area and have a word with the man about whom much has been said tonight. Let's get his version of events. It's Chris Eubank, and he's talking to Ian Darke.
Here is Chris. Chris, congratulations on another victory. What were your thoughts about that fight? How close did you think it was?
I knew it wasn't close. It was just a matter of time before I tagged him, but I just couldn't tag him because he was always moving back out of range. Tough opponent, hit him with some very good shots. I caught him with a right hand in about the 6th round, and that should have moved him, but as these Brazilians are always very, very tough. Argentinians and Brazilians are the toughest race of people when it comes to punching them. That's my experience of them anyway.
He arrived as something of a mystery man. How much did you really know about him getting him to the ring? I mean, did he surprise you?
He surprised me in as much as he wouldn't be drawn into my game plan. I tried to draw him onto my jab. He would not have it. Basically, you've got to get him in distance with the jab to place the right hand, and I only ever done that about twice in the fight. So good tactics from him, I'm not disappointed with the performance. He was very tough. If he had come to lie down, he would have laid down with that right hand in the 6th round. There was one round in which he switched on in about the 7th, and he was talking to me, and I speak very little Spanish, but he was egging himself on and really pumping himself up and coming after me, and he happened to be catching me, every other shot, which was quite, made me, I had to take a rest and think about what I was doing there,
He had the very big 7th round, as you said, and you were cut at that stage. I mean, how worried were you getting? Because I know we could hear Barry Hearn reading you the riot act a bit and saying, come on, Chris, you've got to pull it out in the next 2 rounds. Did you feel under pressure at that point?
I knew I had it under control. Basically, when he switched on again, I was not going to be there, and he switched on again in the last round, and I wasn't there. I just stayed out of distance. Very hard puncher, very strong. And very deceptive. You think he's there, but he's not, and then you go in and then he's throwing those big right hands at you,
I've got to be honest, there were 1 or 2 of the boxing writers behind me who thought Amaral was winning the fight after 11 rounds.
They were intoxicated. I know them. You're probably talking about a few of my friends. There's no chance of that. I mean, it was clear to see.
But there were a few close calls, aren't there, all the time? I mean, do you purposely involve us in all this drama?
I'll tell you what it is, in actual fact. You see, unless I'm provoked, I won't really step up. And where I couldn't actually tag him to step myself up, and he wasn't tagging me, I couldn't actually step up. So there you have it. That's the way it goes sometimes.
Stick around a minute, Chris. Let's get Barry Hearn involved in this. Now, that was the first of 8. Now, you can't deny this. Now, we heard you there, and you were worried, and you were getting a bit cross with Chris in that fight.
I was worried, I was cross, I was frustrated, I was excited. I mean, all the emotions that you feel in a Eubank fight. I mean, I hate this man. Controversy seems to be his favourite bedfellow. I was very concerned because in the 7th round was a big round for Amaral, and I felt at that stage the fight was probably level. Amaral probably weakened towards the end of the fight, but, if that's the first one of 8, I'm not sure my nerves or even my hair, what little hair is not grey, will not be any other colour by the end of this world tour. I'm very pleased he's in charge of the boxing division because I must admit my nerves are shot, Darky.
I need provocation of some type, whether it's a crowd or whether it's the opponent. If I'm provoked, then I will step up. Tonight, it was basically a hard night's fight, but everything was under control at all times, in my opinion.
Now, 7 fights to come. I understand Sam Story is the next challenger. Is that all confirmed, Barry?
Well, that's from you. We will be announcing exclusively on Sky on Wednesday, but you're a very good judge. And, we went to Belfast to try and find Ray Close. We couldn't find Ray Close, so we took a fighter that's not been beaten for over 3 years in Sam Story. It's another hard fight. It's another great night of boxing, and I suppose yet more controversy from Mr. Livingston Eubank.
And I must say, Chris, we love the dressing room. It's not like an ordinary fighter's dressing room, this, is it?
Oh, well, I mean, Sky have a tendency of pampering me these days. Let me just say hello to my wife, Karen. Love you strong. Coming home.
Well done tonight. It was a close one again, but you're still the champ.
Let me just thank also Kenny Nevins and Andy Flute for sparring with me this last couple of weeks. Thanks.
You've just said it, Chris. Well done.
Thanks very much, Dean Dart, with the 2 principals in the matchroom camp there. He's a solid professional underneath all the hype, isn't he? He's a man with his heart and soul in the sport of boxing.
No doubt about that. He's very calm and very composed, as we've seen just now. Nothing ruffles his feathers, and I thought his comment about the Fleet Street papers that had him losing the fight was pretty good.
As a famous Hollywood actor loves to say, explain this to me like I'm a 2-year-old, okay? He just seems to live so dangerously in the ring. What is going on in there?
Well, I mean, what do you mean? You have to be more concise with that question. What's going on in there?
Is this an act? Has he always got more gears to offer, and can he just produce them at will?
I can relate to what he was saying there. He said, I can only rise when someone entices me to rise, and someone hurts me and annoys me, and then I have to raise my game. But he done that in the latter stages of the fight. Now, Amaral, by all accounts, shouldn't have been a difficult opponent for him, and really, we thought he would win the fight inside the distance. But quite honestly, he was young, he was vibrant, he was fit, he was determined, and he wanted to put on a good performance. And I thought Eubanks handled that pretty well, and he finished stronger, and I thought he won the fight comfortably. I'd like to see him win a fight inside the distance one of these days, and I'm sure that he would like that too. But I'm sure that's on the cards. In these next 8 fights, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Also, if I just would like to add, he's now cut So he's got a fight in 6 weeks' time. It's going to be difficult for him to spar and get himself into shape for this one. So that'll be interesting to see.
Does he lack the desire to knock people out like he used to in the early part of his career?
I don't believe for 1 minute that that's the case. I think that he just finds it difficult to raise his pace sometimes. He's not the best offensive fighter. He's not good at coming forward. He falls over himself. He likes guys to come at him, and sometimes he can't land with those solid right hands. And in fact, most of the time in recent fights, he hasn't been able to land clean. They all know he's a big puncher, so they're watching that right hand, particularly the right uppercut. But I don't think he lacks the killer instinct, and I'm sure we'll see examples of that throughout this 8-fight tour.
What are the guys who may be lined up as possible opponents for Eubank down the road going to say to themselves, having seen that display?